Hey, whoever's here, thanks for joining us to the new final boss fight with Batch and Mark.
Yay! Something new from Pop 4D.
Yes, this is going to be in video and podcast form, so however you're watching or listening, thanks.
We made a video thing.
Exactly, we're trying to stretch our creative muscles. Not too much, I don't want to get a sprain.
No, I got a bad back. I'm old. You can see the gray in this beard now. How old I am.
Yeah. Hopefully the more HD and Ks we get in here, the more gray we'll see in each other.
We're gonna have all the Ks, so you can see every single grain on my beard.
Yeah. But the point of this show is to talk about movies that we find either interesting or just downright awful. As long as there's something to talk about, it'll be on the show.
Yes, this is our movie podcast about part of the network. Mm-hmm. So it's not a commentary; it's a discussion show.
Yes,
where we talk about the things we love.
Yeah, we're putting on our very serious discussion hats on.
If that's humor, don't bother.
So I was about to say, like, what movie are we talking about this week, Mark?
Stripes.
Right, so let's talk about Stripes. Great movie. Love that movie.
1981 comedy with Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, and a whole bunch of cameos.
Yeah, so many members of SCTV in this movie. As a Canadian, I know you're a fellow Canadian.
Yeah.
Does our hearts swell to see so many fine members of the SCTV troupe. Directed by Ivan Reitman.
Yes, rest in peace. We sadly lost him recently. And I
Mm-hmm.
think what really spurred us to talk about this was all our General Ross references and the Stripes thing you kept bringing up on Webtails.
Yes. So for those of you who found this video and aren't aware that Mark and I co-hosted a podcast called Webtails, you can find every Tuesday on its own podcast feed, where we recap classic issues of The Amazing Spider-Man from the beginning to present day. This is a very weird show, so sometimes certain characters show up. Sometimes it's Kraven the Hunter. Sometimes it's General Ross.
Yeah. And this movie is basically where we got our General Ross from, even though he's not in here, but the whole army hut type mentality.
Yes, because whenever General Ross shows up, the theme from Stripes for some reason plays.
For some reason plays, yeah. And then, now we're talking about it.
I've never done this before.
So, start the conversation. Let's talk about the cast of Stripes, of like how epic. Like Bill Murray, you got Harold Ramis, you got John Candy, you got John Larroquette.
Yeah. You got Judge Reinhold.
Yes. Who can forget Judge Reinhold?
Yeah. You got, I guess we can talk about smaller roles. You got Dave Thomas at one point.
Dave Thomas, you got Joe Flatherly.
Yeah. As a Russian.
Yes. Pops me every single time.
Yeah. You got PJ Souls.
You got Sean Young.
Yeah.
Starting off.
Yeah. Bill Murray's getting the shoe shine while watching an army recruitment video.
Yes. Bill Murray's character of John.
Mm-hmm.
Was it John Winger?
John Winger, yeah. Which I kept thinking of Community. Jeff Winger.
Yes. I'm sure that's where they got it.
Yeah, I think so. He's, as he says himself, getting a $100 shine and a $3 pair of boots.
Like, how would you describe John Winger in a sentence?
I'd say fun to watch in a movie, but insufferable in real life.
Yes. I would not be that guy's friend.
No. He would be very annoying.
Well, he talks his best friend into the army. Like, what kind of friend is that?
His friend who wants nothing to do with the army and himself says is a pacifist.
Yeah. So John's not doing too well. He just flat out quits his job as a cabbie.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. So first, he gets some jackasses who stiff him on the money.
Yes.
And then he picks
this
up...
This was before the age of Uber.
Yeah, before he had to pay before he got on a taxi. And then he gets this lady who has 6,000 giant bags.
I love how, like, did you notice, like, because both Mark and I rewatched this prior to the podcast. He actually evidently sacks himself with one of her suitcases. Yeah.
And during the whole ride, she's just talking shit about him, how he's useless and sucks and he's terrible, and she's going to report him. And once he gets on the bridge, he says, "It's fuck this shit o'clock." Just leaves, throws
I'm
the
out.
keys in the water, and that's it.
I love how he's supposed to be a photographer. Like this is one thing I kind of noticed too. Like he's like a photographer. He actually has a camera in that scene. And he leaves the camera in the cab,
Oh.
and it never comes up again in the movie. Because I assume when he gets home to his girlfriend, you see all the pictures of the girlfriend around the apartment. I assume Bill Murray's character took those.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you know what's funny? I totally forgot about the photographer angle till you mentioned it. So yeah, once in the apartment, we get his girlfriend with, it's the early 80s. So what do you get in the early 80s, Batch?
Boobs.
Yeah.
BEWBS, boobs.
Yeah. And, well, she's tired of his shit because, his car got repossessed as well on his way up to his apartment.
And he dropped his pizza. That was the most sad thing. My heart wept when he dropped that pizza.
And her dry cleaning got run over by the car, I think.
I think it did too, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
all around just a bad day.
Yeah, no job, no car, and soon no girlfriend. She's tired of his shit. He's sad, so does he call his buddy? Or does he just show up?
I think Harold Ramis just shows up. Now, Harold Ramis is the teacher at a English class for people who do not speak English.
Yeah, I love that. Does anyone know English? You a little bit. Okay.
Son of a beach, sheet.
And he just teaches them old songs.
I met her on a Monday and my heart stood still. Somebody told me that her name was Jill. Okay.
And,
Not good at his job either.
No. But at least he seems to be enjoying it.
Yes. I think he really liked what he did.
Yeah. I want to talk about how great his afro is.
It's pretty epic.
It's magnificent.
Harold Ramis always had like the best hair in his movies.
Yeah, he did, eh?
Okay, I know you're anxious to jump right in.
I love when Bill Murray throws the basketball and it goes through the window.
Yes.
And he asks the guy to throw it back up and it goes through the other window.
A lot of this movie was improvised. And I think like scenes like that were 100% improvised.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, as you said, Bill Murray says, I got nothing to live for. Let's join the army. He managed to convince Harold Ramis to do it as well.
And I love how they talk about this. His big plan was he was going to get an RV.
Yeah.
Totally foreshadows like the later on in the movie.
Very much. And then they head to the Army Recruitment Center where they park their car. And then they're talking to the Army Recruitment guy. And I love the part where they ask, are you homosexuals? And they're just messing with him.
Yeah.
And
We are willing to learn.
Yeah, that was it. I love that. So, I guess they just take anyone in the army at this point in the 80s, right?
Literally, like this. The beginning of this movie always kind of makes me think of like Police Academy. Like, what came out first, Police Academy or this movie?
This one.
This one, yeah. So they kind of just aped the format of Stripes and just made it about cops. But you got John Candy as Ox. You've got Judge Reinhold. You've got that guy Psycho.
Not Francis.
We got Cruiser. The really dumb guy.
Mm-hmm. And a bunch of other nameless dudes in their unit.
That was a really funny scene with Judge Reinhold and Harold Ramis.
Yeah.
They do a strip search.
What? It's freaking out.
I just love the way that Harold Ramis is just like nodding his head, like, "Hey, man, yeah."
Yeah, he's pretending to be high too.
Originally, this movie was supposed to be a vehicle for Cheech and Chong.
I believe that.
But their producer, or I guess their manager, wanted like way too much money. Mm-hmm. So they rewrote a lot of the drug humor to Judge Reinhold's character. Not that there's much of it anyway. He's barely in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like he's there, he's in the barrack scene, and he's in like the titty bar later on.
Yeah, and he's just kind of in the background the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So they end up getting to the army base where they meet Sergeant Hulka.
Mm-hmm. Sergeant Hulka was awesome in this movie.
I was gonna say he's the real hero of this movie.
He's the real hero of this movie.
Because I'm siding with him. Like, I would not want to put up with Bill Murray's bullshit either.
John Winger is the villain of this movie. Or let's say it this way. Like, John Winger's ego is the villain of this movie.
Yeah. Like, his Just, I don't give a shit attitude. Just want to do whatever he wants. They all get their haircuts, which are all very inconsistent.
No, not everyone is getting the buzz cut that John Candy got.
Yeah, he got a buzz cut. Hal Ramis, okay, he loses a fro. Bill Murray, I don't think he got anything cut, really.
No, I don't think he even got a haircut.
Yeah. So, all over the place. And then we meet John Larroquette.
Love John Larroquette. A
Yeah.
huge Night Court fan.
I like to pretend that this is a prequel to Night Court.
Oh, so he became a district attorney after he got back from the Arctic at the end of this movie?
Yeah. Well, in Night Court, they do say he used to be in the army.
Oh, there you go.
He just changed his name. There you go. He's just as creepy and a pervert as he is in Night Court in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So then they all start their training. They're all fucking terrible.
Mm. Nice montage.
I love the bayonet part where they're all sticking the dummy in.
Are these my men? No, those are not your men.
Yeah.
Here's your men over here.
Like, ah.
John Candy's going the wrong way down the hill.
Yeah. Half of them are just running in the forest, nowhere. But then there's a part where Bill Murray and Hal Ramis jump onto a cargo plane where Hal Ramis took 6 acid pills.
Now, this part was actually cut out of the actual movie because Ivan Reitman thought it just completely didn't fit. It's a weird thing in the middle of the movie that goes on kind of like way too long.
Yeah. Where they end up in Colombia.
Yeah.
And
they have to sing "Quando, Quando, Quando" to escape from the guys, and they just get back on the plane. Like,
yeah. And that part just felt really out of place. And I was like, why'd they go there? Just to fuck around?
just hang out.
I guess. They fooled that guy, that like Green Beret looking dude.
Yeah. I think it just goes to show like just what a complete dick that Bill Murray's Jeff Winger is.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't care. He's not taking anything seriously.
No.
He doesn't get it.
And he even basically leaves Hal Ramis out to dry when
Totally.
they're like, who did this? And Ramis steps forward and Bill Murray doesn't.
Mm-hmm. But at least Bill Murray gets a punch in the stomach from Sergeant Hulka for that.
Yeah. They get their talk a little later on.
Yeah.
John Larroquette being a creep.
More boobs.
Yeah. It's the 80s, folks. Things were different.
Yes.
There's the poker scene where I said, let me see your cards. Oh, yeah, you want to put all your money in there.
Never play poker with John Candy.
You know,
He'll take you for everything he's worth.
which he does. Oh, yeah, then the mortar scene with John
Yes,
Larroquette.
the infamous mortar scene. Just fire it, which leads to them almost killing Sergeant Hulka.
Yeah. Sending him in the hospital. And then he ends up just blaming the other men because he's a jackass.
Never taking credit for anything.
No. Well, he takes credit. He just doesn't take any blame, right?
Yes. That's the trick.
Now here's another scene that would only exist in the 80s. The mud wrestling. Extended mud wrestling scene.
So they decide to go out to get a little R&R, and they're going to the titty bar, and it turns out there's giant mud wrestling in there, scenes in there, hosted by Dave Thomas from SCTV.
And Strange Brew.
And it turns out there's a competition to get in the ring with the girls, so Winger decides to talk Ox into wrestling, because Ox said he wrestled in high school.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm nebulous on what the rules are. Doesn't someone has to pin someone to win?
I don't know, but those girls were not putting Ox over. That's all I'm saying.
No. He was a monster heel. Or babyface, depending on how you see it.
He was a mean green fighting machine.
Yeah.
And I just love that they actually made a Funko Pop of John Candy covered in mud with girls' bikini tops. That exists in the real world.
Very inappropriate for today, but it was 1981.
It was the 80s, folks.
Yeah.
Which, again, led to more boobs.
Mm-hmm. And
the reprise of the Stripes theme.
Mm-hmm.
I always think of that, the Stripes theme in the mud wrestling.
Yeah. Which I will put a link in this video so you can listen to it, because I can't play it now. We'll end up in YouTube jail. No,
we don't want to be. We're just starting off, so we don't want to be in YouTube jail already.
And, well, the mud wrestling scene, those kind of things made me think that this was a commonplace in the 80s.
I think that was a thing for a while, like in those type of establishments.
Maybe. I mean, I wasn't around.
I'm not that old. I'm old, but I'm not that old.
Yeah. I was going to talk about, I guess, their girlfriends, the two MPs.
That's a pretty messed up situation if you think about it. They totally took advantage of those boys.
It just feels like such a weird, I don't know, love
Relationship?
Yeah, like
Because they initially met when when they were being deployed. So of course Winger and Harold Ramis's character, they flirt with Sean Young and PJ Souls.
yeah,
And then just when Winger says, "Screw this, I'm leaving," he gets tackled by Harold Ramis in his long johns.
yeah.
So then the girls meet up with him, and instead of taking them back,
They take him to the general's house. Was that it?
yeah, and then they had sex.
Yes, all over the house.
So by the time that the girls dropped the guys off back at the base, turns out it was graduation day, right?
Yeah, and everyone's freaking out because Hulka's not there anymore to show them what to do, and they're not ready. So Winger and Ramis are like, okay, well, we're going to cram like you did back in college. Just study all night.
So if I'm remembering this correctly, does that mean that Bill Murray was going to quit the day he was supposed to graduate basic training?
I think so.
That actually makes more sense. Like they should have showed this moment where he realized, oh my god, what he actually did, where he could actually go into combat, and then that's why he could have freaked out. I think
Yeah,
that would have been a good.
yeah, it would have been a good idea. But I don't know. He just wanted to leave. I don't know.
It just makes him look more like a dick this way.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, and didn't even tell his buddy. You know, he just snuck out.
Just like peace out.
I'd be pissed too if I was Harold Ramis.
Yeah.
So I love that. Then they all fall asleep, and you see John Larroquette like all trying to impress everyone. Like, where's their unit?
Yeah.
Because he's in trouble because he's got to find men for the EM50.
The top secret project.
Top secret project, which ends up being just a Winnebago.
Yes. Brings it full circle from the beginning of the movie where John and wanted a Winnebago.
Yeah. So I love everyone sleeping. You're like, oh, what time is it? And it's like at 3. What time's the graduation? 2. Don't worry, we still got an hour. Oh, wait, shit. And then...
So then they all march in, and this is one of the greatest scenes ever, like, I think, in a comedy movie. Like, how long did they practice this scene with the choreography?
all
in
night,
real life.
apparently. Oh, probably a week or two, but this was a one-night thing they figured out how to do.
So they were able to impress the general enough so that he decides to give John Larroquette's character the EM50.
Yeah.
Captain,
Yes, sir.
these are exactly the kind of go-getters I want working on my EM50 project in Italy.
Oh, but sir, these men.
Don't butt me, Captain.
What?
What? So yeah, they end up getting sent to Germany to show off the EM50.
It's funny because the movie could have ended right at the graduation scene right there, but then it goes on for like another 20-30 minutes.
Yeah, where they're on this tour. Winger and Russell have to guard the EM50 while the rest of the crew gets let off for the weekend.
I wonder what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and they say, "Fuck this! Let's take the girls out. We're gonna go, let's go to Germany."
Let's go to Czechoslovakia.
Yeah,
We're not going to Moscow. It's Czechoslovakia. It's like going into Wisconsin.
Well, I got the shit kicked out of me in Wisconsin once. Forget.
That's a great line.
yeah. So they take the M50. John Larroquette figures out what happened, so he goes looking for them with the rest of the unit.
Immediately gets captured.
Immediately ends up in Czechoslovakia and gets captured. Because they end up on the wrong side where the Russians are.
And that's where we first meet Joe Flaherty as the Russian.
Yeah. That was pretty funny seeing him. To me, it's just like he just screams Canadian.
He does.
There's nothing
and
Russian
he's not
about him.
he's not even Canadian. He's from Chicago.
See, even worse.
He's one of the Chicago Canadians.
And I was gonna say, so Ramis, Murray, and the two girls decide to go save everyone. And I was going to say, did they just commit an act of war when they cross the border and take those guards hostage?
100%.
That's what I thought. And then,
But at least they went back.
Yeah, they went to go back to save their friends. Because of the problem they created themselves. This is like a Suicide Squad kind of thing, where
Oh, it totally is.
they're there to fix the problem that they themselves created.
Mm-hmm.
And what pops me was when Murray gets there, he's got the Russian outfit on, and he's not saying anything. He's just like, and he gives one guy a bottle of vodka.
Like that was going to work.
Yeah. These soldiers are just completely incompetent. Let's just say it right now.
They are. Yeah. This movie is very USA pro-war.
Very. And, I love when they were crossing the border with John Larroquette. Hulka's like, you're going the wrong way. And he gets ignored. He's like, fuck this shit. He just jumps out of the back of the truck. He's like,
That's why Hulk was the hero of this movie.
Yeah. He knew he had to save these idiots on his own afterwards.
Yeah.
So while all this is happening, he's like on the peripheral watching, planning his move.
Being like an American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah. Eventually, they find their way to the guys. They break them free. And there's a giant shootout.
We should talk about the weapons on this frigging mobile home.
Yeah.
It's got rocket launchers. It's got flamethrowers. It's got machine guns.
Yeah. It's got like a Batmobile type protection on it.
The back goes down so people can run in and out of it.
Mm-hmm. It's just funny that it's
like
just a converted Winnebago. So eventually they save everyone. Hulka jumps onto the Winnebago as they're leaving. And what does he say once they cross the border?
Oh, shit. There you go.
And then once they're back home, they're all heroes. For some reason, I think really they just get thrown into the prison for A, stealing a multi-million-dollar piece of equipment, and B, committing an act of war.
And AWOL and treason and...
all of the above. But it's a movie, so they're heroes. Yeah. And they end up on an airstrip, and I love all the little magazine covers that come out.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite is the one for Ohio Ramus, where...
Love John Candy as on the cover of Tiger Beat.
Yeah. What else was there? Hulka retires, puts out the Hulka burger.
Yep.
And John Larroquette. Yeah. And John Larroquette's reassigned to Antarctica, I think.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah. You see a picture of him like all freezing.
That's Stripes.
Yeah.
It still holds up. I watched that recently, I think a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just started talking. I think I watched it, and that's when I came up with the character General Ross.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
And then we started using it on Webtails, and now we've got a new podcast where we talk movies. So it's funny how things happen.
Yeah. I had a fun time. I think I watched this for the first time 15 years ago, maybe. It was on the Movie Network. You remember that?
Oh, yeah. Now, we should mention also how we watched this movie. Because we do live in Canada, we watched it on the CTV app.
Mm-hmm.
So that meant a lot of commercials that you can't skip.
Did you get any interesting ones?
Not as much as on Tubi Tuesday.
Okay. What's fun on Tubi Tuesdays when you watch through Marcy or Bede, you can see all the Australian commercials.
That's right. For Wild Secrets.
I just get diaper commercials.
Yeah.
Do you want to give a movie a rating or?
I'll give it 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie. It still holds up. Still one of those classic 80 comedies. Yeah, is the humor kind of crass and kind of PC? Yeah, but that's what kind of works for it. And sometimes those movies aren't bad.
Yeah. It's a fun time capsule to way things used to be. And I think it's pretty fun. I give it a 7 on 10. I find it funny, but not laugh out loud funny. But there's some good jokes and some chuckles, I find.
The memorable scenes are what you always remember fondly. You never remember the quando.
Yeah, nobody remembers that. As I was watching, I was like, "What? I don't remember this."
Well, it's because that was depending when this was on TV, that scene wasn't in it.
Yeah,
they cut that out for TV,
which makes sense.
And there was the second sex scene they cut out with the girls. That wasn't on TV either.
Okay, where you see PJ Souls.
Yeah, and when Bill Murray's just lying on her.
Yeah. So as we established, Hulka is the hero, Bill Murray's the
Yes.
heel,
Yes.
and everyone else is just kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, Lara Kitt's still a heel
that-
as well.
Is that how we're gonna grade like heels and baby faces on this show? Like
Yeah.
who's the heel, who's the baby face?
Exactly.
Okay, I like it. I get it.
I was gonna say, no, go for
Everyone else is a tweener.
it. Yeah, they're in between. What would you say was the funniest moment of the movie?
Well, I'd say maybe the mud wrestling scene. Just the chaos of it, like John Candy just hulking up and kicking ass. And the music's playing, and that's what I think of Stripes.
Okay, I'm gonna go with just John Larroquette being a creep,
Oh, okay.
wishing he was a loofah.
Don't we all wish we were aloof at one time or another?
Maybe I'm not admitting to anything. And what do you say is the final boss fight of this movie?
Will have to be the assault into Czechoslovakia. That would be the final boss fight.
Yeah, agreed.
We actually got to see the Winnebago in action.
Yeah. I'm shooting everybody, but nobody dies because it's A-team logic, where you shoot lots of bullets and everyone just runs off. And Joe Flaherty was a hero by the end, remember?
He was. Chased off those Americans.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to bring up, Batch?
That's good.
All right. Well, we had fun. Thanks for joining us on this new project, and we hope to come back pretty often with different movies and different takes on them.
First of many episodes of the Final Boss podcast.
Yeah. Final boss fight is back, baby. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye.
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.